Rain had been falling since early dawn, draping Tokyo in a soft gray curtain and a steady rhythm of droplets. The city, usually moving at a relentless pace, felt slightly slowed, as if giving space to anyone who wished to breathe a little longer. From the window of a small apartment in Setagaya, Aiko watched the narrow, rain-soaked street, traffic lights reflecting in shallow puddles, and transparent umbrellas moving like calm jellyfish. That morning, the rain was not a disturbance, but the opening melody of the day. Aiko turned on the small stove and placed the kettle on top. The sound of water heating blended with the rain outside, creating a simple harmony that made her mind feel lighter. She chose green sencha tea, the loose leaf she had bought from an old shop near the station. The shop was run by an elderly man who always bowed politely and remembered the names of his regular customers, a memory that warmed the heart. Aiko poured the hot water slowly, watching the thin steam rise and carry a familiar, calming aroma. It had been 3 years since Aiko moved to Tokyo, yet rainy mornings like this always made her feel like a newcomer. The city had given her many things: a job at a small publishing house, a neat routine, and new habits learned day by day. But behind all of that, there was a quiet loneliness that often arrived unannounced. Busyness frequently became a blanket to hide unspoken longing and fatigue. She carried the cup of tea to the small table by the window. From there, she could see a mother holding her child's hand, the child wearing a bright yellow raincoat. The child hopped deliberately into puddles, while the mother smiled in gentle resignation. Aiko smiled without realizing it. There was a kind of happiness that did not need to be grand to feel real. Just small steps in the rain. Just laughter that was never planned. Her phone vibrated softly. A message came from her mother back in her hometown, containing only a simple sentence. "Don't forget to have breakfast," Aiko chuckled. The distance of thousands of kilometers suddenly shrank, through an attention that never changed. She replied with a photo of the warm tea in her hand, adding a small umbrella and heart emoji. In that simplicity, she felt connected. After taking her first sip of tea, Aiko was reminded of rainy mornings from her childhood. In her grandmother's old wooden house, rain often meant the scent of wet earth and the sound of bamboo brushing together in the wind. Her grandmother always said that rain was the best time to listen to oneself, because the world is speaking softly, she would say. In Tokyo, Aiko was beginning to understand the meaning of those words. Beneath the noise, the city also had a whispering side, waiting to be heard. She prepared to leave for work, putting on a light coat and picking up the transparent umbrella that had become a symbol of Tokyo outside. The rain remained faithful. The streets were slippery, yet orderly. People walked with steady steps, keeping distance without needing reminders. There was beauty in that order, a silent agreement to respect each other's space. At the station, the aroma of coffee mixed with the damp air. Train announcements rang out clearly, their rhythm as regular as a clock's ticking. Aiko stood on the platform, observing the familiar faces she saw every morning. An elderly man who always read the newspaper, a university student with large headphones, and a middle-aged woman carrying shopping bags. They did not know each other, yet they shared the same time and space, bound by habits that needed no explanation. The train arrived right on time. Inside, the windows were lightly fogged. Aiko wiped away a bit of condensation and watched the city move backward. Tall buildings, small shops, neon signs that looked softer under the rain. Tokyo, with all its contrasts, felt like a book that could never be finished. Every day offered a new page, even when the story seemed the same. When she arrived at the office, the rain began to ease. Her colleagues greeted her with smiles and brief nods. At her desk, Aiko opened the manuscript she was editing, a collection of essays about everyday life in a big city. She paused for a moment, looking at an unfinished sentence. Without hesitation, she wrote about a rainy morning and a cup of warm tea, about how small things could become anchors amid the current of life. As noon approached, the sun attempted to break through the clouds. Soft light fell on the still wet sidewalks, reflecting new colors. Aiko closed her laptop for a moment and took a deep breath. She realized that happiness did not always come in the form of major achievements or long-term plans. Sometimes, happiness appeared as a pause like warm tea on a rainy Tokyo morning. Simple yet enough to strengthen one's steps. In the afternoon, when she returned to her apartment, the rain had completely stopped. The air felt fresh, and the sky was left with a calming pale gray hue. Aiko set down her umbrella, boiled water once more, and poured tea with the same ritual as that morning. This time, she drank it with a full smile. The day had not been extraordinary, yet that was precisely why it felt precious. Tokyo might be a vast and busy city, but within its spaces, there was always room for warmth if one was willing to pause and feel it.